Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our Wellness Wednesday webinar. My name is Joan Barrett. I'm the Executive Director of the Lakes Area Community Coalition, and I'm here on behalf of the coalition as well as the Walled Lake Consolidated School District Parenting Fair team. And we have put together this series of weekly webinars that hopefully will build wellness in your family. Physical wellness, social emotional wellness, and academic health and wellness for your family and your kids. So we hope this series of videos is beneficial to you, and we hope you've had a chance to check them out. Tonight's video is being recorded, and we will have it over on the Lakes Area Community Coalition website very shortly, and we'll be sharing these out through social media as well. All of our Wellness Wednesday webinars live over there, and we hope you'll take a few minutes and check those out or share them with a friend, someone you think might enjoy watching some of this good content that hopefully is helpful to you and your family. If you have any questions during tonight's presentation, please put them in the Q&A bubbles at the bottom of your screen, and I will see those and we will address those with our presenter. And another reminder, over on the Lakes Area Community Coalition website is our April challenge, and we hope that your family's participating in our April challenge. This month is a fitness challenge. So there are lots of great ideas for fun physical activities to get your kids moving, get your family engaged, and doing some things to build physical wellness. So complete those challenge activities and email the form over to challenge@lakesareacc.org. And somebody is going to win a $50 Kroger gift card and a $50 restaurant gift card. So hopefully your family will be the lucky winner. So complete those challenge activities and get them to us by the end of the month. Next week's webinar will be our last Wellness Wednesday of this school year. So we hope you'll check us out next week as well. So tonight, we are going to meet an art therapist. And we're going to talk today a little bit about art therapy, what it is, and how it can help children and families. And I'd like to introduce you to our presenter tonight. This is Ellen Smithey. She is a certified art therapist and in local private practice, and she will tell us a little bit more about that. So welcome, Ellen.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. Thanks for that lovely introduction.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to flip into screen sharing. Okay. And I'm just going to keep it as is, like that. Great. Okay, so hello, like she said, I'm Ellen Smithey. I'm a registered art therapist, and I know that whenever people hear art therapy, they're always like, oh my gosh, are you going to like know every single one of my thoughts by dissecting this drawing that I did? That's kind of creepy. Trust me, I won't, or I will. I'll never tell you. But yeah, art therapy is amazing. Art therapy has been one of my passions for since I was about 12 years old. I've wanted to be an art therapist. So I am very excited to share myself, share what art therapy is, share my counseling history as well, and what you guys can do for your children, for yourselves, and for your family. So who am I? Who is this chick who is here presenting? I am Ellen. I grew up in Southern Indiana, so I'm not originally from Metro Detroit. However, I grew up coming to Red Wings games because my dad was a hockey coach. Love hockey. I ended up going to Notre Dame in South Bend, and then did my master's degree at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. in counseling and art therapy. So it's about 6 years of schooling. Every art therapist has to go through that. And then in addition to that, it was about 2 years of supervision and licensure work in order to be licensed. So that was a lot, but totally worth it. I currently specialize in children and families who have trauma background or are currently experiencing a family trauma. One of my niches is children whose parents come out as LGBTQ later in life, and working with those children to help them better understand what is happening with their family. And of course, I have my contact information right there on the slide. You can find out so much information at ellensmithy.com, and then you can also contact me at that email. But for now, I am going to share a little bit about what a session with me or with an art therapist kind of looks like. So, if you are looking to bring a child into therapy, a lot of times just traditional talk therapy doesn't work for children. Children have a difficult time sitting still. They have a really difficult time putting words to their emotions that they're feeling or even understanding what it is they're feeling. And so when a child comes in to work with me, usually the first couple of sessions, we're just getting to know each other. The child has to build a little bit of trust with me. And so we do that through different art making activities, we do that through different play activities. And then eventually something will catch the child's eye in my room. My room is full of fun things, and that child will grow an attachment to that thing. And so then while working through the metaphor of that thing, whether it's a particular painting set or whether it's, I know I had one client who was obsessed with this little chicken figurine that I had. And so we ended up just going with the metaphor of chicken. The child was able to talk through the chicken figurine, express chicken's emotions, build a safe place for chicken, all of these things that they were working through that I was then better able to understand through the metaphor for them. So that's what a session with a child usually looks like. And I consider children ages 12 and younger. Um, and then I am of the personal belief that children don't have problems. That's why, clinicians don't really diagnose children. Um, it's more of, okay, let's look at what's happening with the family as a whole and the parents and see what the child is picking up on and then why they're doing these behaviors. So I'm of the full belief that if I'm working with your child, I'm going to be working with you as well. It's not just a drop your child off and pick them up and everything will be fine situation. So usually with those parent sessions, some parents choose to see me individually. Some parents choose to see me as a couple because sometimes what's going on within the relationship is affecting the child. And so sometimes those are bi-weekly sessions, sometimes they're monthly sessions. It's just whatever the family feels is best for them. But what we do in those sessions is work through some communication. There's lots of team art projects that you get to work on. Um, and it's really affirming to watch the couples get stronger in themselves and notice the child get stronger within themselves at the same time. That's why I love family work. And then, of course, I'll also hold family sessions. So a lot of times it'll just be mom and child together or dad and child together, both moms together, whatever the scenario. And usually it'll be an entire family project or directive that they'll do together. And I may provide some more parent coaching in those moments. So, for example, I will pull the mom aside and say, hey, I need you to, or like, hey, I wonder what would happen if you got on eye level with your child and made sure that they made continuous eye contact with you. And then, of course, the parent will try it and we'll see how it goes. And then I can give the parent feedback. I think a lot of parents like that because then they get to really experience it in a safe, contained environment with someone who is non-judgmental about what's going on. Um, and then, of course, I also see individuals. I am currently doing this presentation at my adult practice as well. With adults, I primarily focus on young adult girls usually college age to 30 years old, which we would also consider woman, and you may be a mom. I see a lot of moms, to be honest. I love moms, but moms who just feel like they want more. They want to explore more. They did the whole career thing. They have done the children thing or are currently doing the children thing. And they're ready to know themselves and want more for themselves. And so a lot of the time I will do a lot of sand tray work with moms. Sand tray work is when you have a huge thing of sand and multiple figurines, and you kind of have the person set the scene within the confines of the sand tray. And then through symbols and interpretation, we can really dig up what's happening in the unconscious and interpret that for yourself to give you a better idea of the feelings that are going on in your body. I also do sand tray with kids. Sand tray with kids usually looks more like play therapy. So play is more, again, within the metaphor. Usually the kids will assign different characters to who the family members are. We'll go through family scenarios like, hey, can you show me why you were so grumpy yesterday morning? Your mom let me know and I want you to show me. And then they'll do that for me within the confines of the sand tray. Sand is also extremely calming. I highly recommend everyone have just like a pit of sand. It doesn't have to be big. Like, I'm not asking you to fill your living room with sand, but I mean, it would be amazing if we could, but just like a whole tray, like one of those trays that you could get at Target or Walmart filled with sand, just so the family has something to run their hands through to say, hey, I can tell that you're getting really overwhelmed. Why don't you go over to the sand corner and spend some time playing in the sand? Amazing. A lot of my kids have their own kinetic sand, and I honestly think that's why a lot of kids right now are super into slime, because it does that. It enacts our parasympathetic nervous system, which calms us way down, which is nice. So that's kind of a little bit about what those sessions with me and with an art therapist, play therapist kind of look like. Obviously, I'm also skilled and trained in traditional talk therapy. And so, especially with the adults, if they come in and they're still a little bit uneasy about what's going on, we can obviously verbally process everything as well. And then I recognize that it takes some time and some trust to get to the nonverbal processing. But I'm with the whole family every step of the way. So I'm going to go into a little bit more about what art therapy is. So I'll let you guys read that quote. So that is basically the definition of what the American Art Therapy Association is. And you can find us anywhere. Detroit has one program for art therapy, and it's at Wayne State. A lot of my colleagues are through Wayne State. It's an incredible program. And there's two different types of art therapy that I think you'll find when you seek out an art therapist. One is that there is the art as therapy approach, which is a little bit more of the old school approach, still just as amazing. And that's more of like, okay, let's just allow the flow process of getting into the art materials to be what heals us. And then there is the approach of more integrative therapy approaches. So, for example, with that, I am also trained in internal family systems therapy. That is a talk therapy that really relies on dissecting different parts of self. I will take that talk therapy protocol and combine it with art materials such as fabric, sewing materials, and I will have people create dolls of their different parts of self. So that's just one example of how art therapy can be combined with other things. Sometimes I practice art as therapy. I tend to do that more in my workshops. And when you do art as therapy, I personally believe that you don't necessarily need an art therapist present for that. Um, and so some of the things that you guys can do as a family is more art as therapy, right? So therapeutic. One of the things that I know was extremely popular at the very beginning of this pandemic, but I've always loved anyway, was a rock garden. So you can go on a nature walk with your family, or just by yourself, take a basket, gather some rocks. The sensation of picking up the rocks will ground you because you get to connect with nature, feel a little bit more present. And then you can paint on the rocks, you can decorate the rocks, you can write positive messages, things like that. And then some people choose to keep their own rock garden for their family in their backyard or their front yard. And then I live in downtown Royal Oak. I've noticed that a lot of families scatter the rocks around. So it kind of becomes this really amazing community art as therapy project. And you start to see like, oh, this family's doing it too. Um, Helps you feel like you have an impact around you. So that's one option. That's always amazing. The other one also has to do with nature. If you are wanting more of a collaborative time with your family, especially if you have small children, one of the things that I do with family sessions is we'll go on a nature walk. We will have the parents and child collect any natural found material that they would like. I say naturally found because I realized since moving from Washington, D.C. to here that you guys are very eco-friendly, and the kids started picking up the recycling on the side of the road. And so that's great. That's also an incredible family friendly activity. But for this one, we're just gonna stick to the nature items. All right. So build your basket of nature items and then work together to then find a space either in the neighborhood, in the woods, in your house, wherever, around your house, probably not in your house, that you can then build this family symbol, this family memorial, with the found nature objects. You can try, it helps you see like how you work together with your child, and also helps you build that relationship with them. And for the families that I've done that with, they have continued to do that. I just had one family who was able to go on vacation toward like in a beachy area, and they told me that, oh my gosh, their child wanted to do that with them every single day walking along the beach. And you can do that anywhere and costs absolutely no money, which is amazing. The other one, the last one that I will say before I answer any questions, is that one of the best art materials I would say to have on hand is a watercolor palette and watercolor paper, because that is the most fluid material possible. And when we think of fluidity, we think of calm. Everyone's systems right now are on edge. I've labeled the pandemic as a trauma. Everyone's going through a trauma right now, even the kids, even if you can't tell. Having a watercolor set at home with the appropriate watercolor paper is a godsend, in my opinion. It enacts that parasympathetic nervous system. It helps you feel productive because you'll have an image to look at afterwards. It's not about what it looks like. It's not about, like, we're not trying to get into the DIA. It's just an amazing activity that you can do by yourself, with your family, or for your child. And if you're like, I don't even know what materials to look for, you can go onto my website. I have a goodies link because I thought it was cute. It takes you to an Amazon link that has like Ellen's favorite art materials, and there's like a $10 watercolor pack right there that you can purchase. And I get no kickback. That's just there. So yeah, that is me and that is what I do. Can I answer any questions?
Ellen, thank you so much. You've given me so many great ideas of things to do. And truly, I think art therapy is not maybe what people think right out the gate. I mean, I think some of the things you described were really fascinating in terms of nonverbal processing. I think that so much of what people do in therapy is they think therapy always is a verbal processing, and many people just can't or aren't comfortable, or for various reasons the nonverbal processing works better than the verbal. I think that what you described is a great option for families whose maybe kids are nonverbal, or families whose I'm a parent of teenagers, and I would like your thoughts on that. Yeah. Teenagers are sometimes they truly cannot articulate the emotions and the feelings that they are experiencing. Tell me how you might work with teenagers, or even children maybe on the autism spectrum who are nonverbal, or for whom verbal activities are a real challenge.
Right. So I actually work with a lot of teen girls. I would say more than half of my caseload is high school, 13 and up, 13 to 18-year-old girls with heightened anxiety. Man, is it hard to be a teenage girl right now, especially with TikTok, Instagram. And what is it with Gen Z and trying to get into really good colleges? I don't know. But it's a thing and it's a lot of pressure. So I actually, on Sunday nights, I have an open teen girl anxiety reduction art therapy group. It's from 7 to 8:30. In the summer, we've been meeting, or when it's nice out, we've been meeting outside, but basically you come, you sign up, and you can email me to sign up, and it's we basically do an art therapy directive each time that is aimed at reducing anxiety and stress. Mm-hmm. And if people choose to talk, which the girls rarely choose to talk, if they do choose to talk, then they also get to hear from everyone else about how they're not alone and what they're thinking and feeling. And I think that is key for teenagers, because they think that they're the only ones, and they're not. The other thing is that I also have I have an Instagram for the Gen Zers, literally, because everything that they're seeing on social media right now is telling them how bad their body is, telling them how bad they are, putting down emotions, what they should be, all the shoulds, right? And so my Instagram page is a safe, free space that they can go to and learn about mental health, learn about body positivity, learn about being empowered, things like that. So I love working with teen girls specifically. I have some teen boys too who are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
When it comes to autism, I tend to be more sensory oriented with autism. So lots of fidgets, lots of very hands-on interactive things with autism, and it's very behavioral shaping. So I rarely work with just one child individually with autism. It would be a family session every single time. So I don't know if that gives you a little bit more insight, but that's what it would be.
I think I understand what you're saying, and I think that that's really valuable. I also hear what you're saying about family connection and family art. I think you've given us some great ideas for things that families can do, together, collaboratively. And it's not about a perfect output. I think so often as parents, we have a tendency to judge our children's artwork, you know, and this is not that at all. I think it gives everybody an opportunity to create something together, and it's about the process and the creation and the values and that go into it, and not about, you know, something that goes to the DIA, right? So
Right, right.
I love that, and I love that it gives families a vehicle for that, an opportunity to do that together, and build that trust through that process.
Right.
Um, Ellen, all I will post on the website where the recording will be a link to your website with the resources that you mentioned.
Mhm.
And I think that hopefully families will take advantage of that, and share this presentation so people can learn a little bit more about what you do and how art therapy can benefit people's families, as well as then find some resources. So
Amazing.
yeah. Anything else that you wanted to add tonight before we wrap things up?
I mean, I think the only thing is definitely utilize my website. I have like 5 free meditations on there right now, that are all age appropriate and families can do together. I have an entire resources page for national and local resources. There's lots of fun goodies on there, so definitely check it out.
That's great. Thank you, Ellen, so much. And thank you for being part of our Wellness Wednesday lineup. We've been appreciative of all of our different people who have spoken and shared their skills and their gifts and talents with our community. And I just want to thank you again. And on behalf of the Wild Lake Schools Parenting Fair team and the Lakes Area Community Coalition, thanks to everyone for checking us out and working with your family to build wellness and build a healthy, vibrant, drug-free community in the Lakes area. So thank you and have a great night.
Thank you.